Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fiat Panda Man, and this video is entitled Removing Your Drive Shaft the Bloody Hard Way. First question, why have I got a stonking great vice attached to a disc? Well, part one of removing a drive shaft is that we have to undo this, what was it, 30mm retaining nut. Which is incredibly difficult to do if you don't have an engine in the car, because then you've got no compression to hold it against, or if you've got no caliper on. So I've had to attach the vice to the disc, put the retaining bolts in the disc and use that as leverage. So we should now be able to, hopefully, there we go. Undo our 30mm bolt. What we shall now do is remove the disc and get that out of the way. Okay, so you can see we've got the disc out of the way now, and this is nice and clear, so we should be able to pull the whole unit out away from the drive shaft. To make my life a little bit easier, I've undone these two 19mm bolts and nuts, as you can see out of the way there. And what we're going to concentrate now is the bottom ball joint. It's just a 17mm, and then we're going to split that ball joint, so pull the whole thing out and take it from there. Okay, so what we have here is a ball joint splitter. This one's a Sealy. I think it was about 13, 15, 19 quid, something like that. For all sorts of ball joint splitters you can get the ones which you hit with a hammer, which look like giant tongs. I don't really like those, they tend to do more damage than good. This one's popped a few and it's passed, so what we'll do is get it on and I'll show you how it works. Okay, wait for this to focus for a minute, but what you can see now is the ball joint extractor in place. What we need to do is split these two apart. So by winding this out, it actually puts pressure on the bottom here, and the ball joint should then split. Okay, you can see that ball joint split now. So that 17mm bolt comes out the bottom, and what we do is we prise those two apart, and eventually it pops out, and then we can knock the drive shaft through. That's unbolted from the top. So from this point onwards, we pull that out the bottom, and it will come. There we go. So we're just pulling that out of the way. Okay, so you can see now where we pop that ball joint out of the way, why it's wise to remove the 19mm bolt so we can get the leverage. Whole thing pops out. You see the bottom ball joint there, and the whole hub then pulls away as an assembly. What we're left now with is the drive shaft, the outer CV boot, the inner CV boot. Now this feels like it's a loose fitting, it fits on splines. So what we're going to do now is they look like 8mm or 10mm nuts, and we're just going to pull the whole thing off. It is wise to have something underneath because it's a wet shaft gearbox. When you pull that, all the oil's going to pull out. You're going to have to forgive my out of breath, I'm incredibly unfit. Okay, as you can see, looks like some oil's dropping out. They were 3 times 10mm. We can get in a little bit. We can see it's kind of attaches to the sleeve of the drive shaft. Drive shaft removed. Okay, so now we're back in the shed. And I suppose the first question is going to be, what is a wet shaft gearbox? What is a wet shaft drive shaft? And why have I taken it off? I've taken it off because the other one's been bent and is leaking, and that leads on to the why. A wet shaft gearbox basically means that the shaft is wet. We have the I don't know what you call them, connection into the gearbox itself with the bearings, and then we have the outer sleeve. So this is the 3 times 10mm bolts, And this actually contains the oil. So if we move to the right now, you can see the CV boot is actually retaining the oil on the shaft. So this spins inside here. And what tends to happen with the 899 Cinqueccentos, Cinquecentos even, and the Fiat Pandas, is this develops a weep. And over time, your gearbox oil disappears out on the floor. And what you end up with is dodgy gear changes, noise and whine from your gearbox, and then potentially a rather expensive rebuild. That started to happen, not the whining, but the oil seepage on the drive shaft I've got. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up. We're going to price up some new boots. We're going to clean up the actual shaft itself, get rid of all the contaminants and surface rust or debris. We're going to take this drive shaft off, boot off, and we're going to repack it with grease. And then we're going to put this back on the car and then connect the brakes up and take it from there. Thanks for watching.